I'm Grace Torie, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Grace Torie, and I'm back with a whole new podcast episode. How is everyone? I hope we're doing well. I noticed on Wednesday that my podcast episode didn't upload on Spotify, but it uploaded everywhere else. So if you're listening on Spotify, I apologize for that. I'm going to be looking into that, but I wanted to go ahead and make sure I didn't get behind on episodes. So I am, obviously posting today's episode and then just kind of vibing and working on that. I probably sound a little tired. It's because I am. I just got back from Vegas a couple hours ago. I am a little more hungover than I would like to be, but yeah, Vegas was really, really fun. I got to spend time with one of my college roommates from back when I was in college, and she still lives here. We both still live here, but we've just been so busy with life. We didn't really see each other that much, so yeah, it was really good to see each other. If I sound a little delirious, it's because I am, but I still wanted to talk to you guys and get this podcast episode up because I missed you. So that's pretty much everything that's going on in my world. Obviously, we went to Vegas for my best friend's wedding, so I definitely cried a lot. It was really beautiful to see her get married, and watch that relationship bloom and continue to grow. So I'm really, really excited for her. And yeah, it was everything I think that she's ever dreamed of, I hope. So it was so beautiful. I don't even know what else to say. And very emotional for everyone. But yeah, I don't really have any other updates. Oh, I did get 2 drunken tattoos. So one day I got a little too tasty with the juice, and I did get a drunken tattoo. And then at Katie's wedding, I actually got a little drunk, and then a group of us went and got tattoos. So am I a little too easily influenced for Vegas? Yes. Am I also a little too poor for Vegas? Yes. It is so expensive. Word to the wise, if you are planning a trip to Vegas, bring 3 times as much money as you think you'll need, because you'll need all of it. It is very expensive. I thought it'd be comparable to Miami. I was wrong. It's insanely expensive. It would probably be really fun to go when I'm on a disposable income, but times are tough right now, so I don't know. It was really fun, and obviously the girl I was with, we're still getting established and stuff, and she's still in school, so she's on a similar budget to what I am, so that was fine. We ended up being fine, and yeah, I just recommend going with someone who's on the same budget as you, because if we had been on different playing fields, or say one of us had way more money than the other and just wanted to go gamble, that would have been really bad. I did gamble, and on the first slot machine I won $140, so I was yep, there's no way I'm gonna be that lucky twice. So I literally just was I'm done, and that was it. I did not gamble after that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today's episode. I just wanted to go on r/confidence because we haven't been on there in a while. Read through some posts, see what people are doing advice-wise, and just gain a little confidence as we go into the week. So I'm really excited. This is everything from relationships to just being more confident in a room, everything. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump on in. So I'm basically just going to read the post, read any comments that stand out, not my reminder going off. Yeah, she's just vibing. Okay. Read any big comments and just see what inspiration we can get to be more confident, So the title for this one is, How Do I Not Get Intimidated by a Room Full of People or Just Even Person in a Room, and How Do I Approach Them Confidently? For some context, my final year be with a class full of people whom I have never interacted with, and I have to spend an entire year with them, and it sucks that most of them found groups within themselves, and I couldn't because I commute to college, and every time I see them in college, I get intimidated by them, so how do I approach them without getting intimidated? just to comment on this, I definitely relate to this because when I got my MBA, everyone got very clicky and grouped off very fast, and I kind of missed the boat. So I was very intimidated like the entire year, and I had no idea how to make friends. So I wish I would have seen this then, because it was like a very lonely year, because I have social anxiety, so I never really like went out of my comfort zone. So let's read these comments. So the first one says that's that type of question that is really easy to answer but kind of hard to apply. I would say first step is breaking the thought process that everyone is going to judge you if you try something or if you make a mistake of something. People are a lot more focused on their lives than in yours. That's why the second step is lowering your standards. You don't need a good reason to talk, and those words don't need to be perfect. Remember, the first impressions are not that important, and everything can be fixed with time. Lastly, but also important, always remember to mind your posture so you don't look too closed off for people to talk to you. That's it. You will do good. I trust you. I agree with that. I really needed to hear that because I still have a hard time with like making friends and being more social. I'm just a little bit more shy, so I get really scared and just like expect everyone to approach me. And that's obviously not always how it works. So another comment just kind of said the same thing, like realize that nobody's thinking about you, everybody's thinking about themselves just like you are. It's very freeing, and when you realize this, it takes pressure off to make mistakes, because even if you mess it up, people will likely forget about it in a few minutes. That's really true. And then someone else also said group assignments. If you're in college specifically, group assignments are really, really good ways to make new friends. Starting group chats online is also a really good way. Just introduce yourself and say that, hey, I haven't had the opportunity to meet anyone, but I look forward to doing so, and starting a group chat. So that's everything that was under that post. I think that was really helpful if you struggle to kind of remember who you are in a room, like you get intimidated when you're in a room. So yeah, good one to start off with. So the next one just says, let's all be very honest with ourselves for a moment. That's like the title. Okay, let's all be very honest with ourselves for a moment. Look at your life. What have been the moments where you felt the most confident, where you felt at the top of the world and as if you could reach all your dreams? Probably you felt this way when you exposed yourself to difficult situations and you overcame your fears. The moments when you took a leap of faith, where you took a deep breath in and where you looked all your anxieties and insecurities straight in the eyes and said, I am scared shitless, excuse the profanity, but I'm going to do it anyways. You want to be more confident? Look at what scares you. You're afraid of talking to strangers because you think they'll judge you? You can do it. You're scared of approaching the attractive men and women on the streets? You can do it. You're scared of starting your own business or taking your job to the next level? You can do it. You are scared of being vulnerable and showing your true face? You can do it. Let's crush it, champion. So that one kind of sounds a little like, you know those men online that are like, I'm going to teach other men how to date, and then they like talk like that. That's kind of how it sounds. So I was like, I don't know if I want to use this, but it's very like applicable, and I think some of you definitely could benefit from hearing that. Literally approaching what scares you head on is the best way to be more confident and just like build your confidence and truly have a better life. Like, life isn't meant to be only lived inside of your comfort zone. So I think that that is just something to remember, and your most precious moments when you look back on your memories is probably going to be from things that were outside of your comfort zone. Let's read this next one. Is confidence also called being secure in relationships, or does it not matter? Share your experience. So this one, I guess, is about being in a relationship. So we're just bouncing around to all of the things. Okay, so let's read this. So for background info, I believe when I lost some weight, I found a new confidence within me that resulted in slightly healthier relationships in my life after dumping the situationship that didn't value me enough. I'm planning to lose an extra 10 kilograms. I used to weigh 115, now I'm 95. I want to be around 85 to 80. I noticed that things like depression and anxiety have left the building, except when I'm around a man that doesn't value me. I get anxiety and start losing confidence within myself. Now the connection and question I have in mind is when someone finds ways to be more confident. In my case, it's losing the extra weight and taking on pole dancing as a new hobby. Does that make them more secure? Has anyone felt this way before? The more confidence you build, the more security you have as a person. With stronger boundaries, act and will not settle for less. I've always found it interesting. Please let me know about your experiences. Yeah, I think that is definitely true. In terms of like anxiety and depression leaving the building, that may have to do with exercising more because that does help your mental health and reduce things like anxiety and depression to a certain extent. I do think that when you like yourself more and you value yourself more, you settle for more. Like you don't lower your standards actually raise because you think that you're valued more. Like you think you're worth more. So you put up with less. So that is definitely more, like that's definitely correlated. And then also being more secure. I don't know if you're definitely more secure, but I think that it's more secure in yourself so you don't need that outside validation. Like it's more about validating yourself rather than looking for it in other people or situations. So I agree with that, but let's read some of the comments. It looks like there's really only one. Our self-confidence is weird. There's not like a ton of traction on there, like a ton of activity, but it has some good stuff. So the comment says, yes, most of my confidence comes from the insane amount of capabilities I've developed over the years. If I'm not confident, learn, train, and practice until it's not scary anymore. I learned you don't get confidence to do things, you get it from doing things. That is such a good reminder. Like, I'm getting the best tidbits from this. I don't know if you guys are learning, but I feel like this is such a good episode already from the things that have been said. Confidence is learned. It's not just freely given. And I think a lot of times we just expect ourselves to gain confidence overnight. Like, if we tell ourselves enough times, I'm confident, then we will be confident. But I think that it's important to know that in order to be confident, you kind of learn it. Like you gain confidence as you learn whatever you are trying to do and you become more confident in it. So whether that's becoming more confident in like what you wear by just repetition and wearing it so many times. Sorry, my nose is so itchy. Oh my gosh. I'm back in Kentucky where the allergies are bad and it's getting me. But anyway, whether it's like learning a new skill and just becoming more confident in your abilities through like, for me, it's like horse riding, but there's, running, playing a new instrument, things like that. Whether you become more confident in your relationship as that trust grows, there are so many different ways. And I think that we often forget that confidence comes with time and it doesn't just come to you overnight because you really want to be confident. You have to put in the work. How to build confidence if we don't believe in ourselves? ? They say fake it till you make it, but whenever I do this, I just feel as though I'm just hiding my problems, and sometimes I feel like I'm getting drained, carrying a persona which I don't have. I guess some people are naturally happy, positive-minded, filled with energy, while others have insecurities and have a hard time understanding who they are as a person. So exactly how do we work on ourselves? So fake it till you make it is not really about hiding your problems and being someone that you're not. It's about emulating the person you want to be. Imagine the person that you want to be in the future. Start working towards the things that make you that person. If you're having trouble feeling like that you could achieve that, it's where faking it till you make it comes in. Pretend you're already the person you want to be. If that person is kind, to fake it, you have to be kind. If that person works towards greater levels of success, you have to work towards greater levels of success. If you want that person to be confident, you have to act like you're confident. If that person goes to the gym regularly, you have to go to the gym regularly. Over time, the things you're doing to fake being the person you want to be will make you that person. Everyone has insecurities. That's just a fact, and I've never met a person who didn't have to figure themselves out. That's just part of being human and or getting older. You'll figure it out. Picture the kind of life you want, person you want to be, and people you want to be surrounded by. Back into it from there. What you want will also change over time. The better you get to know yourself, that's totally normal. That is so helpful. Like, that's so good. Because faking it till you make it, it's honestly just very similar to like the law of assumption and like being delusional. Like, the whole trend with the lucky girl syndrome is just being delusionally lucky and things like that. So, that is just I think it's very relevant to that because some people have a hard time doing that because they feel like they're not being themselves and things like that. So someone literally asked that. They said, what if you fake it till you make it? But it is so extremely hard to do because of the feelings you have, which I think is what most of the reason it's hard to do stems from. It's like your feelings and your emotions. So let's see how they responded. Some simple and free things you can do are write down all the things you like about yourself, do all gratitude journaling, volunteer for a cause you care about. It has been shown that by plenty of studies that doing something kind for another person makes the person doing the act feel better about themselves. Just keep in mind this does not mean being a people pleaser and having no boundaries. Sometimes that costs money. That can also help with this is fair therapy. A lot of the online ones are cheap or are covered by insurance, so it doesn't have to be prohibitively expensive. It can take a few tries to find someone that you can mesh with and find helpful, but once you do, it's really helpful. And then they just go on to say, if you're really struggling that much, maybe you should consider therapy seriously or some medication. You still have to put in the work, but it definitely helps. So I agree with that if you are at the point when you're like, no matter what, I just feel hopeless and like I can't do anything, then I agree that seeking out extra help is important, but also remember even the happiest person on the planet will have hard days. So that's a really good thread. I really think that it's hard to be delusionally happy sometimes or delusionally good at things or delusionally confident, but when you really break it down into steps that you can proactively do, it's a lot easier. So that was a good one. This one is just titled Drop in Confidence. It says, am I the only one who notices our confidence when speaking to people on a platonic level is generally okay? When it comes to talking to someone we're attracted to, our confidence suddenly decreases? Yes, it's because you care about their opinion more. That's my point of view on it, but I'll read this. Hey there, you're definitely not alone in feeling a drop in confidence when talking to someone you're attracted to. It's completely normal to feel nervous and put pressure on yourself in those situations, but remember the other person is just a human being too, and they probably feel just as nervous and unsure as you do. The best thing you can do is be yourself and try not to overthink things too much. Good luck. Overthinking is the enemy of all fun, in my opinion, but all facts. Very much all facts. So don't overthink anything. Remember that people are just so caught up in themselves, they probably aren't thinking about you. And like this person mentioned, they are probably just as nervous as you are and caught up in themselves in that way. So they definitely are not noticing your little things because they're focusing on their own. So even if it's not perfect, don't even worry about it. You're vibing. You are vibing. So let's read this next one. How does one rationalize desire going after something based on a feeling and nothing else? So basically, how do you rationalize going after a desire that you have if you just have a feeling you should be doing it? Hello. So I'm in this place of my life where I'm quote unquote doing the work, upping my spiritual game, trying to improve myself while trying to understand my fears / traumas and why I keep holding myself back. I've never gone this deep within myself or wanted to make a change this much. It's hard, but I do feel myself shedding limiting beliefs and negative perceptions about myself and my place in the world. Something that I thought of recently is how do I rationalize my desires? I noticed that in the past, I would get on this continuous cycle of wanting to do something like painting, writing, drawing, going out with friends, or my most recent desire has been starting a YouTube channel. But before I even start doing this thing, I slowly convinced myself that I didn't really want those things. I would say you just want them because you like how other people do it, you're just jealous, or you were just daydreaming. Then I would hyperanalyze the desire and would even start to ask myself, what does desire even feel like? What does wanting something for yourself even feel like? How do you know that's what you were truly feeling? And eventually I would shrug my shoulders and say I really didn't want that and just wouldn't do anything. Now as I age and understand myself more, I feel as if this is my self-sabotaging brain running rampant, or my brain anxiety trying to protect itself from the unknown. Also, I have a lot of past traumatic events surrounding creativity and expression. Sometimes I feel as if being creative and expressing myself is my deepest desire and biggest fear. I go back and forth between feeling as if I really want to do it and trying to convince myself that I don't want to. I low-key forget that I like making art unless I'm actually doing it. I'm just wondering if anyone can relate to what I'm going through and if anyone has any experience on the other side out of this particular anxiety. I'm wondering, how do I simply feel the desire and run with it? How do I trust it the first time? How do I trust something or put action behind something I can't see? Something else I feel stops me from doing what I want is I try to look for evidence for why the desire took place. I think and obsess over the why too much, and it keeps me in a perpetual cycle of stagnation. My mind goes, I don't have a reason for wanting this. I can't see a concrete benefit, so I'll just pretend the desire didn't happen. This entire situation bothers me so much. I see it take place, I understand it, but I don't know how to get myself out of it. What do you change the self-talk to? What do you tell yourself to rationalize your initial desire? Any information is helpful. Thank you so much. And this has a ton of replies. I think that it all comes down to the saying, higher risk, higher reward. Obviously, the more you desire something, the more you're going to be scared of it because you're scared of it not coming true. You're scared of losing it. The stakes are just higher. The risks are higher because you care more if it doesn't pan out, as well as if you are putting things on the line for it. Like, you're not going to sacrifice things that are really important to you, like your security and, like your job, your life, your relationship, whatever it may be. You're not going to sacrifice that for a desire that you aren't really that connected to or likely to follow through. So the more you desire something, the more likely you are going to be to take bigger risks for it, which means that you're also going to be more scared because if those risks don't pan out, the consequences, quote unquote, are bigger. So that's, I think, why we feel that way. But let's read about how people choose to get around that and take the risk. Someone said, I've struggled with this before, and what has helped me is simply just doing that thing regardless of what your brain is telling you. Easier said than done, but tapping into the optimism instead of the dismissing thoughts is key. You might like it or you might not, but try to take that first step. And then someone responded to that and said this: doing the thing anyways has always helped me much more than journaling, meditating, or dissecting mentality surrounding the issue. All of these actions are helpful. Journaling can help out put words to your thoughts. Meditation can help you clear your mind and understand your thought processes by sitting with yourself. You can visualize overcoming this stall out, or you can reflect on past instances of the issue to better understand the why. Ultimately, doing the activity pushes you through the stall out. Taking action brings up new questions and new interests. Maybe you actually don't enjoy the hobby. Maybe you find starting isn't a problem, but keeping at it is impossible, and unlock a new problem to face down. Just go into a new activity with an open mind to be terrible at it and just enjoy it in the moment. So yeah, just do it. I say that all the time. You guys know that I tell you to just do it. Just jump into it. Don't be scared. I know it's scary, but don't overthink it, and just don't give yourself the time to overthink it, because you will. So just do it as soon as you can. And I think that that's very similar to what they were saying. Someone else said, bros, start meditation. It will really help you to clear your mind. Believe me, I agree. You guys know I've been meditating at night. I used to meditate and I kind of fell out of it, but it helps you control your thoughts and become truly the master of your mind rather than your thoughts controlling you. So when you can do that, you are just so much stronger in all areas, not just in confidence. Someone said, imagine a 1-year-old baby sitting on the floor of a playroom surrounded by toys. There's a dump truck, a stacking toy, a giraffe, all kinds of toys. Suddenly the baby reaches for a particular toy, smiles, and proceeds to play with it for a long time. Do you question why the baby chose that toy? As people grow up, some of us become too serious too much of the time, and we lose our spontaneous joy and desire to make ourselves happy. A lot of times, it's trained out of us because some of our desires won't pay the bills, or they don't align with what others want for us, or they just simply don't make sense. But your desires don't need to make sense. It is okay to want and pursue for the sake of joy itself. The founders of America knew this was important and considered it a birthright, quote-unquote life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If it's harming no one, then what's the harm? If you become, we could kind of talk about how the quote-unquote founders of America harmed others. But, I'm just going to put that disclaimer there. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm going to keep reading this comment. If you become curious about your desires, that's okay, but you don't need to fill out informational gaps first. In fact, sometimes it'll make more sense why you don't want to do something after you've done it. You'll have more data points. This is how I make sense of going after what I want. But you may also want to ask yourself, what do you feel and what's getting in the way when you try to pursue what you want? That is such good advice other than the America part. Like, you won't know you don't want something until you do it. And people really do take life too seriously. The people that are happiest, usually you ask them why they're so happy, and they say things of like, they always say that they stop taking life seriously. Whether that's they look at life like a video game, they just don't consider it to be as crazy. Like, whether they just focus on God and like loving Him and kind of don't worry about all the stresses of life. Like, when you stop focusing on the stress and just stop taking life so seriously and thinking about the consequences of everything you do, it becomes so much better. So that was a really good one to read. I think that that's going to be the last one I read. I have a couple more, so let me know if you want me to do another episode like this where we just have random golden nuggets of confidence tips. I really took a lot from this, and I hope you did too. If you aren't already, don't forget to follow, subscribe, whatever the word is on the podcast platform you're on. If you also would like to leave a rating and review, when I tell you it changes my whole world for the better, whether that's just tapping 5 stars or whether that's leaving a written review on the podcast, you can change my life for the better forever just by taking 2 seconds to do that. So I really would appreciate it if you did. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at thatgirlthepod. All of my links are down below. I love you guys so, so much. I upload every single Sunday and Wednesday. Hopefully I'll figure out what the heck is going on with Spotify. But if you're watching this on a Sunday night, I hope you have a great night. If you're watching this on any other night, really, or any other day, I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or night. I love you so, so much. And I'll see you in my next episode. Stay confident, besties. Bye, guys.